What's up, everybody? We'll be with the Blacksmith Podcast again, and it is time to continue this breakdown of the Robinhood call. Let's jump right into it with Vladimir Tinif, or Vlad Tinif, as he likes to go by, and Shiv.
Are great. Again, relative to our overall business, it's a smaller portion. So big picture, we're diversifying, we're keep shipping for customers, and we love both these business lines.
Hold on.
All right, thank you. That
Move the
concludes
screen.
our
Hold
shareholder
on.
questions from Say Technologies.
Just leave it like that.
Thank you again to Matt for joining us live.
All right, they're
Now
about to
we'll move
take
Q&A from our
Q&A
in-person
from the audience.
So we ask that each person who's interested in asking a question raise your hand and limit.
So this
yourself
would
to
be the
one
first question, okay?
Alex, would you like to ask a question?
Here we go. I'm going to one of
Alex
these.
Markgraf from KeyBank.
I am going.
Vlad, maybe on the prediction markets front, with the close of the JV, can you give us a sense as to what the team is working on and from a product standpoint, outside of greater list of contracts, what we might expect this year?
Yeah, so thus far, if you've been watching closely, you've really seen us refine
Take notes.
the down funnel trading experience, particularly with sports. So we've added more tools like combos and player contracts for traders that want to go deeper. We've also started increasingly leveraging our advantages, which are we have lots of assets on the platform. We can connect things together to show you related contracts contextually in the places where they matter most. We've also completely revamped search and discovery as well as home to make them multi-asset and include prediction markets. So one thing is, how are we going to show prediction markets contextually where it's relevant to customers across all of our app surfaces? Can we show relevant ones in the stock detail pages so that, if you're considering investing in an equity, you get the whole picture of, not just the options contracts, but also the prediction markets that are connected. So I think you'll see more of that. You'll see first time prediction markets customers, which we're seeing an increasing number of people coming to Robinhood, not because they want to trade equities or crypto, but because they've heard of our prediction markets offering, they want exposure to that. So streamlining that. So if you're a first time prediction markets customer, we not only make it easy for you to get into the product, but also make it so that we can easily cross-sell you to things like retirement or other products. And I think that's an area where we have a unique advantage being a super app. And you mentioned Rothera. I think Rothera is particularly interesting because it gives us vertical control over the entire experience. We have control over what contracts we can list, and also greater control over the pricing and economics. And our philosophy really with all exchange partners is, I think the exchange layer is increasingly going to get commoditized over time, just as you've seen it in kind of other asset classes. And what we'd like to do is optimize for the outcome that's best for customers. So we want to make sure customers get the best price, the best economics, the best experience. And I think Rothera is a big critical part of us driving that.
So I didn't want to cut him off while he was talking because he actually said a lot of stuff there, and I'll just point out some highlights. He did say that they have an increasing customer base and they have a lot of assets on the platform and they're easy to get into. Those three alone, you can close up shop if you're somebody else because they are not lying. They have all three of those are true. The first prediction market they had, if I'm not mistaken, was the presidential election, right? And I got into that one, and then I got into the Super Bowl. I haven't really messed with the sports investments that much, but you know what? All three of those are true. And his name is Shiv Verma. He is the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. He took over for Jason Warnick. All right. Question 2, here we go, from the audience.
Other questions from our in-person audience?
Come on.
Okay.
I'm going to one of these, I'm telling you.
Go to our Zoom queue. So for those on Zoom, please raise your hand to enter the queue. And if you'd like to remove yourself from the queue, please lower your hand. Our first question comes from Ben Budish from Barclays.
Hi, good evening. Can you all hear me okay?
Oh yeah, we hear.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the question. Maybe just following up on that last one on prediction markets. I'm curious, maybe a two-parter.
Ask something else.
Just curious, most recently, can you maybe talk about the mix between sports and non-sports? I appreciate you are quite optimistic on the outlook for non-sports over time, but most of the media would indicate that currently it's mostly sports. And along the same lines, just thinking about prediction markets, how are you thinking about incentivizing new users? It's been a successful strategy across the brokerage business, the IRA product. You definitely have some new competitors in this space that are advertising quite aggressively. So how are you thinking about that one as a way to attract people to that product? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that recently, certainly our efforts have been on making the sports experience really good, but we've also diversified quite a bit. We've diversified into lots of non-sports offerings, and we now have thousands of contracts available. And I think you'll see us continue to make the experience there better in two ways. So one is just in the same way that we've done for sports, putting custom data and information and tools around some of these contracts so that customers can understand them. Then the second thing is surfacing them when customers need them and when they're the most relevant. And we saw particular success with that with the government shutdown and related contracts.
That's right.
So I think
They even
we feel
did a
really good
contract for
about
that.
this actually progressing towards greater diversification. I think it'll be similar to the news. Sports are a big part of the news. They bring people together, but there's all sorts of events that are going on a regular basis that customers care about and offer active traders trading opportunities. So I think you'll see it continue to diversify as time goes on. He asked another question, which I think was for you.
Yeah, it was how are we gaining customers and kind of activation? So a couple ways there. First, our huge advantages, as Vlad mentioned, are 27 million customers. So when we can surface things that are relevant to customers, that's a great way to onboard. The second is we're looking at new ways to activate customers. So you may have just seen we have referrals, for example. We have learn and earns where if you learn about the product, you can have a customer, your friend also join. So the team is continuing to experiment both at the top of funnel and the mid funnel to see how customers can onboard. But as Vlad mentioned, we're going to improve the product, we're going to improve the onboarding funnel, and what we're seeing thus far is really exciting.
Yeah, and to put on my Shiv hat, we're going to continue to be very ROI driven and focused on the economics with promotions and marketing activities that we continue to do. I think when we enter new assets and new products, it's less of like just blowing out marketing right away, but making sure we get the product experience right, the economics work well, and then you've seen us get gradually but steadily more aggressive on the marketing front over time.
Okay, on this one, I will say this. Some things to point out. The guy asked about sports and non-sports betting, or as Vlad Tenev likes to say, Mr. CEO, so he's in charge. We're going to say what he says, sports investments. They had one contract on the government shutdown. They had one on the Super Bowl. That's sports, though. They have other contracts on different news events, he said. Shiv said 27 million customers. They have tools for learning, and then you can invite people, and they're ROI driven, says Vlad, right? But another thing I want to point out is that they have a lot of tools on there to teach you all about investing and how to read things, and they have analysts when you invest in stocks, period, that'll tell you bullish, bearish, so buy, pro not buy, or sell. They have an interest in you making money, because if you are earning money, they're earning money. If you lose money, they might still make money, but a happy customer is a repeat customer, a recurring customer, right? So they want you to earn money. They don't want you to lose money because, yeah, they'll still get the fee for the contract or whatever. However, if you win, you're more liable to continue investing. So these guys are in it to win it with you.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. The next question is from James Yarrow from Goldman Sachs.
Good afternoon, and thanks for taking the question. Can you hear me?
We hear you and see you. Looking good.
Excellent. Thank you. So you recently added Indonesia as a new market. I was hoping you might be able to expand a little bit on international expansion. Where do you see, or what are the best markets in which you're planning to invest? How do you compare and contrast the attractiveness of the opportunity set in those markets, and also the go-to-market strategy? And perhaps if you could just sort of maybe differentiate between Europe versus Asia.
So
Yeah,
global
I
expansion.
think this year is going to be a big year for international expansion in the markets that we've already been live, namely UK and EU. You're going to see us continue to round out the product suite and respond to customer feedback, and also introduce new platform level capabilities that actually are more useful outside the US, but can scale to every country. So multi-currency wallets as an example there, which we recently introduced in the UK. UK recently
That's
also
very smart.
added stock and shares ISAs, which is the retirement wrapper there. So in that market, you're actually seeing us go deeper and start going into market-specific functionality, leveraging our technology platform. In the EU is interesting because it's a little bit different how we're thinking about it. The EU is a test case for what Robinhood could look like if it was built entirely on crypto technology, on crypto rails. So we don't have traditional stocks there, but we have stock tokens. So that's where we're really pushing hard on tokenization. And I think you should see that accelerate this year too, because admittedly, the first version of our tokenization offering didn't have significant advantages over holding traditional stocks. But once we unlock the power of DeFi, then you get 24/7 trading. You get the ability to self-custody your stock. So you're actually seeing the introduction of advantages that are very difficult to replicate using the traditional rails, and some of the disadvantages, like things that people care about, like protection and things like that, we're going to continue to remove. So I think by the end of this year, you'll get to a point where the tokenized offerings are better than the traditional offerings, which is going to be really exciting. And we're going to continue to close the gap with other offerings in the EU as well. And then turning to Southeast Asia and the rest of the world, you'll see us launching in several new markets. And with each new market, you should expect less time bringing up core features, because we've spent time working with the regulator and also building these things with international in mind. It should be much quicker to ramp up in each market than in the first few. Similar good example, we didn't launch retirement in the US until, 2022? Well, in the UK, it's much sooner to add the local retirement wrapper after launch. So you'll see that continue. So where we now 750,000 international customers. I think you'll see that getting into the millions relatively quickly. And like I mentioned earlier, before too long, we'll be looking back and we'll say, wow, this business scaled much faster than we predicted. So we feel good.
Awesome.
It's really helpful. Thanks a lot.
All right, we're gonna end it right here. But some of the things, that was a great question by Goldman Sachs. Actually, he talked about Indonesia expansion, but he really wanted to talk about global expansion. And he and Vlad said that they have a multi-currency wallet. So in America, I think they could launch a multi-currency wallet. However, I think it's more applicable overseas to have that. It's more prudent of them to have that. He talked about tokenization in the EU. He talked about DeFi. He talked about retirement, and they said they have 750,000 international customers. That is fantastic. Listen, keep it locked, keep it loaded. I will be back with another video and breakdown of this Robinhood earnings call. And listen, as always, what do you do with your 62? If you want a t-shirt, Gmail me. Thank you. Have a good night.